shares. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So I'll just go ahead and start. Good morning, everyone. I am Miss Jackson, and I will be your teacher this year. So to start, I want to go over a couple of procedures that will really benefit us throughout our school year. One being our morning meeting. So our morning meeting, that's a time for us to all come together to address any concerns that we may have in our class, just to get to talk to each other for a second. And it's just really a time for us to give everyone a chance to speak, and it's really beneficial as long as it runs smoothly. So there are a couple of rules that we're going to need to follow and steps to this procedure in order for our morning meeting to go well. So every Monday is when we will hold our morning meeting. So we will have morning meetings once a week, Mondays only, as kind of a beginning of the week recap from the last week that just ended. So when we do come in for our morning meetings, we're going to move our desks, if I haven't already moved them, into a circular seating position. This is so we can all face one another, have great eye contact. As I said, this is really a time for us to get to talk and address some things, and it's really important that everyone can be seen. So desks in a big circle when you come in, and everybody's going to keep the same desk that you have. Not a time for you to switch up seats. Grab your desk and move your desk into the circle. Once we get into this circle, we're going to start our meeting by greeting each other. So this is going to look a little different. You're going to start by, for instance, I'll start. I would turn to my right, say that Michael is to my right. I would say, good morning, Michael. How's your morning going? And then I would get a response back. From there, Michael would turn to the person on his right. Good morning, Emily, and so on until the circle has completed. That way everyone has, names are addressed. Everyone's had a chance to just get a good morning out there. So after hopefully our circle time should take about 5 minutes. There's also going to be a free mingling period. This is where you can just chat with your friends after everyone has said good morning. But we are going to set that for a firm 5 minutes max. At the end of our 5 minutes, we're going to get right back into circle, our meeting, and continue on. So after we are done with our greetings, we're going to go over our schedule for the day. So with our schedule for the day, we'll go over the first assignment that we're going to do, any projects that we're going to work on. It's the first day of class. So one thing would be, when is lunch? Everybody's probably pretty curious as to when lunch is. Things like that, just to go over our general schedule. After we go over our schedule for the day, we're going to go over our upcoming reminders. So this is going to be if you guys have any tests, if there are any field trips coming up that you all are going to need to be prepared for, or say I'm absent. It's always good to know if your teacher's not going to be here. So I will let you guys know ahead of time and remind you up until that date. After we go over our reminders, we're going to have a time for student concerns. This is where you guys are free to voice any concerns you may have in the class, but there is one thing that I do ask. It's that there are no names mentioned during this time. This is a time for us to kind of talk together as a whole, not really point anyone out. And if you do have something like that that you would like to address, or if you are uncomfortable speaking in front of everyone and voicing those concerns, you're more than welcome to come to me at the end of the day, just because our morning meeting will wrap up at the end of our morning meeting and we'll jump right into our scheduled class time. At the end of the day, bring those concerns to me and we'll try our best to figure them out. And lastly, we will go over our first assignment for the day. So say our first assignment this morning is a brain teaser. I'll hand out your brain teaser. We'll go over that in the morning meeting, kind of work on it together, disperse back to our seats, figure it out, and then turn it in from there. So that is kind of the process of our morning meeting. So just a couple, let's see if we can rehearse it a little bit without really rehearsing it. When we come in the morning, actually, let's start here. Our first thing is, when are our morning meetings? Emily?
On Monday mornings.
Perfect. And Michael, how will we sit during our morning meetings?
We will set up a circle with our desks.
Perfect. And why is that important?
So that everyone is seen and we can make very good eye contact.
Perfect. And then last question, just to make sure everything in between was caught, what is the last thing that we will do in our morning meetings, if anyone knows? Emily?
Go over the first assignment that day.
Perfect. Yes, so that is how our morning meetings will run. And then, of course, do you all have any concerns you want to talk about in our morning meeting currently? Perfect. Okay, well, that is our morning meeting. So we will move to our daily closing message. So our daily closing message, that is a message that is going to be read at the end of every day. It's going to wrap up everything that we've done from our morning meeting to our daily closing message. So within our daily closing message, there are going to be a couple things within that. It'll, for example, be something like, in reading, we chose a nonfiction book to read in groups of 3. Or in math, we worked on our addition, more complex addition. For writing, we worked on complex sentences or compound sentences, not an English major. And tonight for homework, please do and say, I gave you guys questions 1 through 10 at the end of chapter 1. And then our final thing would be, don't forget to turn in your permission slip for the field trip next week by Friday. So that's kind of how our closing messages will go. These will be little slips. So I will hand out little pieces of paper to all of you. It will say, in reading we, in math we, etc. You guys will work on those closing messages. Once you're finished with your closing messages, you will put those messages with your belongings that you're taking home. It is very important that you take these home, and I would like for you all to go over them with your parents. Each parent has already been told that they should be expecting closing messages. So just so you know, it would be very important for you to take them to kind of keep them updated on what you're doing and to give yourself a reminder. So as for our closing messages, let's just do a couple of examples. Emily, what would you write for in reading we?
Sorry, you broke up.
No, you're good. If I asked, like, if you were finishing your closing message or writing your closing message, what would you write after in reading we? What did you do in reading?
What we did in reading that day, if we read 2 chapters from a novel, I would write that. If we worked on vocabulary, I would write that.
Perfect. And Michael, what should you do with your daily closing message?
I should take the closing message home with my belongings and share it with my parents.
Awesome. Well, perfect. Thank you, guys. Those are 2 very important things that will help our class run just a little bit more smoothly throughout the year. It was very nice meeting you all. Yay. Okay, let's see if I can stop recording, stop share.